A rider enters the city and heads down the streets till he stops at the entrance of Leonardo da Vinci's apartment and studio on the second floor of a building. The two guards standing on the street outside the entrance stairway recognize the courier. The rider, named Carlo, turns to the main guard. Gabriel, I need to see the master. Gabriel lets him pass. The master is upstairs. Carlo bounds up the steps, leaving his horse with the guards. At the top, he knocks loudly on the door. He perceives Leonardo on the other side. Yes, what is all the noise about? Carlo, in a rush. Master, I have an urgent message for you. Opening the door, Leonardo turns to the eager Carlo. In that case, please come in, my young man, and give me this urgent message. Carlo enters, handing Leonardo the wooden box with the cryptics inside. Leonardo takes the box and goes to a chair. In the adjoining room, there is a partly finished statue of Belinda kneeling in prayer. As Leonardo starts to open the cryptics, he glances at Carlo. Please go in the kitchen. Relax, eat and drink. I may have a message to return to your master, Defancio. Carlo heads to the kitchen while Leonardo opens the box and the cryptics. There are sounds from the kitchen as the head cook yells at Carlo to clean up before touching the food. Reading the message, Leonardo's face turns stern and his eyes become focused. Walking over to a table, he takes pen and paper and begins to write a note. After writing the short note, Leonardo puts it back in the cryptics and the cryptics back into the wooden box. Wishing not to waste a moment in returning the message to Defancio, Leonardo speaks out loudly. Young man, please hurry and finish. I've a message you need to take back immediately to your master, Defancio, in all due haste. Carlo returns from the kitchen with bread in his hand and takes the box from Leonardo. Carlo begins to head out the door when Leonardo stops him with a hand on his shoulder. You must make sure this does not fall into anyone's hands but your master's. Now off with you. But be careful, you are not followed. Carlo exits down the steps and leaps. Leonardo turns and yells, Enriffy, bring me maps of Venice. We have much work to do. After a short time, Enriffy and Alberto enter the room. Yawning, Enriffy obviously in charge of Alberto, with Alberto struggling to carry many large rolled-up papers, which he dumps on the floor. Picking one up, Leonardo spreads it out on the table. Leonardo turns to the boys. Alberto, bring me the book with notes from my spies on the Palermo crime families. Alberto heads out the room. Leonardo turns to Enriffy. There are signs that Defancio is being watched by one of the Palermo crime families. I don't know how they were able to track Defancio in Venice, but we need to put together a plan for their defense and escape, as I fear they will be attacked. The coming wedding may complicate things, but they need our help. Actually, we may need to use the wedding as part of the plan for escape. The young Alberto returns with a book. Master, in transcribing communications, I remember a note that a courier between Palermo and Rome has recently gone missing. No word yet on what transmission he carried or what happened to him. Enriffy responds to Leonardo's comments. Master, we have many unknowns. How can we begin to make a plan with such diverse pieces of information? We have no knowledge that the missing courier has anything to do with the discovery in Venice. Leonardo, always the teacher and master, says, be it the stars in the sky, the movement of the planets, or events of man, I wish to tell you both something you must always remember. Realize that everything connects to everything else. When attempting to solve a puzzle, the most minor of details may be the greatest of clues. Random events are seldom random. We just fail to understand the details of the connections. We must assume events are connected. Furthermore, we must think like the vicious fox, our enemy, to invade their hunting strategy and their attack. Now, down to business. Come and help me with ideas. There are many wealthy families in Venice, many that could be connected to the Freemasons, many that could be connected with the whispered treasure. In the late afternoon, a man with a scarf draped around his neck leaves a bar. The bar has a window facing the entrance to the home of the Marcellina family, one of the wealthiest families in Venice. The home resides in the western part of Venice, with a small church just next to the property. The man turns into an alley after having sat in the bar since early in the morning. Tired and tight muscles, he stretches and yawns. Making a right turn into another desolate alley, he is confronted by a tall blonde man putting a knife to his stomach. At the same time, he feels a knife point on his back, and a hand grabs his scarf, taking a chokehold on his neck. The blonde man in front of him growls, "Put your arms behind your back and don't say a word." The man in the back grabs one of the scarfed man's wrist and wraps a rope around it. Pulling the other arm back, he continues to tie up the man's arm with the rope. The two attackers use the scarf to put a gag in the man's mouth and then put a bag over his head. Out of the dark, a wagon appears, and attackers load the tied-up man into it. They throw a tarp over the back of the wagon, and it is quickly driven forward. As the wagon turns into the darkened alley, it disappears. In the evening torchlight, Vital and Lorenz meet again in the shadows of a warehouse on the north edge of Venice. Both look around to ensure no one is there. Vital has a grim look on his face. The man assigned to watch the Marcelli home did not report in this evening. Anger appears on Lorenz's face. "Another one? Have you found our man watching Defancio's home?" No one knows where he is. The beggars around the Defancio home seem scared to talk. Lorenz stares at Vital with a grimace. "We'll make them talk, whatever it takes. We need to double the teams so there is no single man watching the other homes. Our leader needs information." In the afternoon, a beggar named Palermo rises and begins to hobble away using a crutch. After a day of begging and receiving a few coins on the street side of the plaza by Defancio's home, after turning into an alley, Vital and an associate grab the beggar. Palermo is quickly dragged into the nearby stable. The two men begin beating Palermo till his face is bloody and there is no resistance left. Then Vital stands up. Quickly, he delivers a quick kick to Palermo's side. As Palermo lies groaning, Vital shows him his forearm. "Do you know what this means?" Palermo spits blood from a split lip. "Yes, I have heard of the mafioso." Vital continues. "You are always in the same place. 3 days ago, a man with this tattoo went missing. We need you to tell us what you saw." "Please. I just saw him taken away by 2 guards." "Have you seen him since?" "No. But the guards said they didn't recognize him from around this area before and needed to ask him questions." Vital pulls a wooden box from his bag. "Did you ever see someone entering the Defancio gates carrying a small wooden box like this?" "If I tell you, will you let me go?" "If you don't tell me, I promise I'll kill you." Palermo groans in pain from the beating. "I've seen a young man with such a box enter the gates. It slipped out of his bag as he was dismounted from his horse. But that is all I know. Please let me go. Not a word of this to anyone, or next time we will kill you. Vital and his associates give up Armo a final few kicks and walk away, leaving him with his crutch on the ground, bleeding from his bruised face. Vital and Lorenz meet again in the shadows of the warehouse on the north edge of Venice. As usual, both look to ensure no one is around. Vital begins the secret conversation. Our man watching Defancio was taken by guards for questioning because they noticed he didn't fit in the place. He has not been seen since. We have no word on the disappearance of our second man. I also have confirmation that Defancio has received a young man carrying a box similar to the one you have shown me. Fools. I told them to be discreet. Is there anything else to report? The new men watching Defancio's home have seen much activity. Apparently, there's a wedding being planned. Rumor is that the great master is commissioned to make a statue in honor of Defancio's daughter's wedding to a young man they took in after his family died. Where's the young man from? From an area of Venice. Same place as the master who is making a statue for the wedding? Yes. The coincidences are building. I'm not one to believe in random chance. Get me a runner to carry a message to Milan.
Please like and subscribe the Watcher in the Fall channel.